in 5, 4. Welcome back to Lost Legacies.
A Hidden City Book Company production.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Sam.
How's it going, Sam? Good morning.
Good morning. This is different.
Yeah.
This feels weird. I feel like you can see it in my face that I'm like tired.
Possibly. Yeah. You drinking your coffee? You got your morning coffee?
Yeah, I got my bean juice, you know. Yeah, my cup of mud. So
yeah. Watchers, listeners, welcome back. We typically record this in the evenings when I'm dead tired. But today, just scheduling wise, we had to record it in the morning. And I was just telling Sam, we just missed the rainstorms. It's been raining like all night, and I was considering pushing back or canceling recording today just because there's so much thunder. And I was just like, yeah, you know what? Well, if we record it, we record it. You know, it's a new feature.
Adds to the ambiance, you know. Rain sounds with Lost Legacies.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to see if there's like rainstorms or clouds or something in the little effects I have here on Zoom, because Zoom keeps changing like every week.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, also I was very disappointed to edit the episode, last week's episode, and see that my screen wasn't mirrored.
Oh, really?
So it was mirrored on our recording, but not in the final edit.
Oh, that's lame.
Like, well, that's so I cut it because we
That
were
was the whole
talking about
point.
parallels universes for that
Yeah.
movie. So I flipped everything. So I had the backwards name for no reason.
Wow.
So I was like, oh man.
Lame.
Oh look, see, there we go. Rainstorm.
Oh, rainstorms.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice.
Okay. And then after every rainstorm, you get the rainbow.
Wow.
Yeah, so Sam,
Mm-hmm.
what's good? What's happened this past week?
Yeah, I'm trying. Olivia Rodrigo released a new song.
Yeah,
The
she
Cure.
did. And of course, just like last time, I like this one a lot better than the first one.
Yeah.
The music video I loved it. I really dug the song. I'm like, you lead with this. Lead with this, Livia. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah, I really liked it. I like there's a lot of like musical inspo that's going on in that one. And a lot of people caught that too. A lot of people were just like, this sounds like Everlong.
It does, big time.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. But then I texted you too. I was just like, sounds like Everlong, but then like shifts into the end to like Smashing Pumpkins, like 90s Smashing Pumpkins. I'm like, that's rad. I like it.
She was saying it's her favorite song of the album. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Wow.
This is what I was kind of hoping it sounded more, because it still
Yeah.
sounds like her. Definitely sounds like her influences, inspirations, both. But also like I want something a little more rocking, a little more jamming, you know? And
Yeah.
the first song, Drop Dead, I believe it's called. It's good, but it reminds me more of the previous stuff. So,
Yeah.
which I was kind of expecting, but like I push us forward. Keep moving forward. you know?
Yeah. Well, it's just so interesting because like I don't know. We're in like this interesting era of music, and music making where it's like we see the process almost like throughout. You know, it's like we can never really tell who's going to be big. You know, because
Right.
I remember we had that conversation. You know, when Chapel released her album. You know, and you said you were just like, yeah, I listened to it, but I forgot about it. And then, you know, like a year later, it's topping all the charts.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of feel like the same with Olivia Rodrigo, like Driver's License hit, and I was like, okay, like I don't know if if she's gonna be huge, you know, and now she is. So it is like this interesting thing where it's just like we kind of see, just because of like social media and the way that music gets released now, we kind of we kind of follow sort of the creative process in a way that I think is different than any other era in music, like music
Yes.
making.
Yes.
So yeah, so it is a little weird that, you know, I think you and I are both like, man, I really hope she's like she does this. I hope she gets more rocking. I hope she gets
Hmm.
more of this. And it's like there's not really a case for her to like do that.
Sure.
Yeah, like that first song, I'm like, yeah, this feels like Olivia Rodrigo. You know, it's about what I
Yeah.
was expecting. You know, I like we both want something different, but I don't think, not to say that she's not capable of it. It's just that like there's no
Right.
precedent, you know,
Well,
for her to change, to pivot or anything.
I'll agree with that to a certain extent, but also I think she is standing out from everyone else in her own way, and I think that's why I've put this. What's the word? Like I don't. She doesn't know me. I'm like I put this pressure on her, but it's like I expectations. I have these expectations for her that I don't
Sure.
have for anyone else. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Sabrina Carpenter fan, and I wasn't a fan of her latest album. I think she
Mm-hmm.
has some great hits, but to me, she's just another pop star, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Olivia Rodrigo, everyone her age and everyone of like of her fame and caliber in the music industry making music in like that pop world, Olivia Rodrigo's the only one who I feel like has a chance of becoming a rock star,
Mm,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. I can see
And
that.
so I guess that's where my kind of expectations hit differently. And also, we have friends who we've talked to, and they said, hopefully this is better than her second album. Hang on a second. She's only had two albums, and I think the second one is a lot better than the first,
Yeah.
but it's all the same. I was like, yeah, the first one was written by a 17-year-old girl. The second one was written by a 19-year-old girl. So of course they're going to be similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, I'm going in with that in mind. I'm going in expecting more of Drop Dead, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and but I'm hoping for something more like The Cure. And yeah, I don't know, especially because she is so open about the music she loves and her influences. I'm like, I want to hear more of that in the music, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Speaking of which, I'm couple weeks behind because I don't really watch SNL, but at least recently, lately, for a few
Mm-hmm.
seasons. But I just watched the Olivia Rodrigo episode, and it was pretty good, dude. It was really rad. But there's this one they did. It was like I think I sent you the one where like she's like in that bug prison.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, dude, this is awesome, man. Like, I don't know what they're smoking over there, but like, it's like they've been doing all these really like just bizarre sketches, and I really
Mm-hmm.
like it.
It's
Uh,
it's the youngins. It's all the younger like comedians. I feel like bringing, you know,
it
because
is. I don't know what because they don't make them social media famous. We never see their faces, but I don't know how much the writers' room has changed in the last couple of years.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, because I'm like, it's not just like the casts are really good, of course, but like just the ideas for these sketches. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I love it. But the one I was gonna mention real quick, it's not the best sketch, but they do one. It was like a kind of like a soap opera. And basically, Olivia Rodrigo is pushing like all these rich people down the stairs. And the way they filmed it, I couldn't figure out how they film it because we see everyone falling down the stairs. Well, they must have heard my cries of confusion
Mm-hmm.
because they posted the behind the scenes
Oh wow.
of like the sketch run.
Yeah.
So, rehearsal. So it's a rehearsal. So there's some mistakes and things are a little different. But essentially, I was thinking like, do they have like the set on a gimbal? Because they've done that before for like musical guests.
Yeah.
They do it Inception style, which I don't remember if it was Halsey or Billie Eilish. It was a long time ago, but
Yeah.
like they literally had them walking up the walls and across the ceiling through the musical
Oh,
act.
wow, wow, wow.
So I was like, okay, I wonder they still have that in the background somewhere, but because the staircase scene looks so awesome. No, it was so much easier than that. They had the actors rolling around on the floor in one spot, and they had the background and like the stair, the banner and the stair,
Hmm.
both just rolling by them
Oh, wow.
as they rolled, as they were falling, quote unquote, falling downstairs. And I'm like, dude, that was so easy. And my mind was like, how did they do this? Did they have a gimbal? Blah blah blah. It was so much easier than that. I was like, wow, wow.
Love that
That's the magic
simplicity.
of filmmaking, Sam.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Uh-huh.
So I'll send you that sketch just so you can watch it. You're like, oh, okay, I see what he was saying.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah. So I'm sure there was other trailers, other stuff. The Batman Lego game came out,
Oh,
rave reviews.
yeah, yeah.
I haven't played it. It's like $70. I didn't
Dude,
know
I know.
that. I was like,
I know.
damn. I'll
I
play it
sh
eventually.
I showed the trailer to Kat
Hmm.
cuz I had it and I was just like, "Hey, like, you know, for like Christmas or my birthday, maybe,
Get this for me.
you could get this for me." And I
Buy the
showed her
game of the year for
I
me.
yeah, 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 buy the game of
Yeah.
the year for me. The best Batman game of all time that ever was
Hmm.
or will be. And I showed her the trailer and she was just like, "This is fun. Why do we have to wait for your birthday? Like, let's
Right.
like we're going to get it. So at
Dude,
some point soon we'll get it."
there are some people they're saying like this is the best Arkham game
Yeah,
because they
yeah.
essentially just got everything that worked really well in Arkham.
Yeah.
They threw it over here. There's other things that they've talked about which isn't as good, but like for the full package, they're like this might be the best Batman video game. Kind of
Mhm.
how we were saying the best Batman movie is the Lego Batman movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like as far as like the distillation, like the distillation of like the mythos and
Hmm.
being both like a critique but a love letter of Batman and the
Yeah.
lore and the history and all that. It's like, yeah, man, the Lego Batman movie rules. It's
Yeah.
just so good.
The Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins, those are great, but those are Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Yeah.
That's his vision.
Yeah.
That's built on what the comics did. Same thing with Zack Snyder. That's his. Tim Burton
Hmm.
has his. But Lego Batman was like, no, this is Batman. All of it in one. And of
Hmm.
course, it's done like through a comedic lens, but like it's still, well, you said it best, a critique slash love letter. I'm like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
rad. So
Yeah.
yeah, Batman and Olivia Rodrigo. That's what's up this week. So
Uh-huh. And speaking of a critique and a love
wow,
letter,
man.
let's talk about the movie. Let's talk about why
Yeah,
we're here
I was
this
just
early
saying,
in the
like,
morning.
I feel like a 12-year-old kid again. Talking about Lego Batman.
Talking about Lego, but hell yeah, dude.
So this week we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
Damien Chazelle's. I believe this is 2022's Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
If I Googled it because I was looking for wallpapers, I found pretty much only these images behind us. It was all this one party scene.
Yeah.
And then Babylon AD starring Vin Diesel. I was like, oh, nope.
Oh, we gotta bring that to the pod, man.
Oh God, I never saw it.
I
So,
did. I saw it in theaters, and I still can't tell you what happened.
well, when I was looking up parallels and kind of doing some research after we watched it last week,
Oh yeah, yeah.
it was showing up on lists like underrated sci-fi gems or weird sci-fi gems. I'm like, I don't know about parallel,
I would say
but
weird for sure, but not
not
underrated.
underrated at all. I'm
Yeah.
surprised it has like an 81 Rotten Tomato score. But the movie that kept popping up on the list was Jupiter Ascending, which I know you have
Wow.
watched. I have
Mm-hmm.
not.
I just
So,
rewatched it actually, because like because they re-released Speed Racer in theaters
oh
at
yes.
IMAX.
Hmm.
And we don't have a true IMAX screen, and they only were releasing it in true IMAX screens.
Mm,
And the closest IMAX is like 30 minutes away. We gotta like drive to another state to go to it.
hmm.
Um, but yeah, yeah. So I couldn't enjoy the cinematic reappraisal of Speed Racer with everybody else. So I threw on Jupiter Ascending. Uh,
Interesting. Okay.
and honest, I'm this is my hot take is that it's good. It is
Yeah.
good. You know, it's wild, it's crazy, it's zany. It's got like an equal measure of like Star Wars prequel energy, but kind of mixed with like the more like the weirder parts of like the Matrix sequels.
Mm,
It doesn't make a lick of sense.
yeah.
And also for my money, I don't think I don't think not to defend a white man, you know, on our podcast, but like let's not just throw Eddie Redmayne under the bus, all right? Because I think most of the cast in that movie is bad. And I think they're
Yeah.
miscast, and I think they're all
Yeah.
doing career bad performances. Eddie
Wow.
Redmayne is just of like the villainous characters, he's like the most fun because he's the most outlandish and wild.
Mm,
The other ones that are there, I'm like, you're just boring. You know, I don't believe anything
right.
you say. So yeah.
Well,
But
put
anyway,
it on the list because I haven't watched that one either. So maybe we'll get to it one day.
yes.
Um, One thing I've thought about putting on the list was Cinema Paradiso. I remember loving that
Ooh,
movie.
I've
Man,
never
I
seen
saw
it.
it. It must be like 25 years at this point, but I
Mm.
absolutely love it. Just a pure, honest to goodness love letter to cinema.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I kind of feel like that's what they wanted to do here with Babylon,
Mm-hmm.
but they also wanted to say, but like, hey, this is the reality. This is how dark and dirty and gritty this industry is.
Yeah.
Which, as a whole, looking back on the movie, I can see. I think it did that job well. we,
Oh,
you
for
know,
sure.
we got the grim and dirty side of it. I would have liked to see more of the magic,
Hmm.
but yeah. Since this was on my list, you could go first. What were your thoughts on this movie?
Hmm. I'm trying to be nice. Let's be nice for a second.
Ooh, okay, okay.
Uh, there was there were multiple moments while I was watching it where I was like, okay, I get what you're doing. Let's try and do
Hmm.
something. You know,
Hmm.
let's move past this. And then there was, I think there was the things that I appreciated about this was sort of those moments where it's like we're gonna show you the reality of the situation. Like we're gonna show you. I think
Hmm.
my favorite parts are when they're filming all of the movies in just an empty field and they're
Yeah.
all filming back to back the whole stretch where like Manny's going to get the camera, you
Hmm.
know, he steals the ambulance to come back to get the light, you know, it's all of those things where it's like, okay, cool, like even I wasn't a huge fan of Brad Pitt's performance, but like I feel like in that stretch of the movie where he's like he's this affluent actor who's kind of just lost it. He's drunk. He's doing all this stuff. He's hey, let's go make a movie. You know, let's do all this stuff.
Hmm.
And you know, doing all, I'm like this, like that stretch of the movie. I'm like, this is great. Even when they introduce sound. And you see
Hmm.
like how everybody's losing their minds over sound, and then
Hmm.
like, oh, that's great, that's fantastic. Now we have to cut to how hard it was for you know these people who built their careers working in silent pictures,
Yeah.
how difficult it is for them to work with sound, this new thing,
Yeah.
and like just changing all that perspective. Like there are chunks in the movie that are like, yeah, this is good and I really appreciate this, but it also never feels, and maybe this is a detriment on my end because I know a lot of this. You
Hmm.
know, I studied film history in college. Like that was going to be my minor was going to be film history. So like a lot of this stuff I kind of already knew. So I already knew how like the golden age of Hollywood, you know, a lot of it was debauchery and drugs. You
Hmm.
know, a lot of it was because a lot of these actors were on cocaine or drinking straight absinthe, you know, like all of this stuff. So it was never really shocking to me to see any of this stuff portrayed.
Hmm.
So in a way, it lost the shock value and just became gratuitous. The most shocking thing about the movie to me was the opening sequence. You know, where we
Hmm.
have the elephant just defecating on people. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
that's one way to open your movie.
I figured. I mean, I didn't have a big problem with it, but like, I saw the trailers. I knew what this movie was about. You
Yeah,
know, and I'm like, okay, this guy's literally showing us the shitty side of Hollywood.
yeah.
Did he have to have elephant shit on the camera? No,
No,
that's a bit much. But again, I get what he was going for. You
sure,
know.
yeah.
So, yeah, that was I enjoyed it. But at the end of the day, you know, when the credits rolled, I was like, we didn't need all of that to tell a story.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like there was just a lot of extra. They really wanted to make this epic, this spectacle,
Hmm.
which it was. But the whole time I was thinking of, we talked about it a couple months ago when Brendan Lee Mulligan was talking about Akira Kurosawa and saying, if I don't stop and show you the rain, how will you know what violence is?
Mm.
And that was my thinking with this. Like, this whole movie is just set pieces. It's just almost, it's really filmed like an action sequence. This
Yeah.
whole movie is just a giant action sequence. So I really appreciate when it stops and slows down. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, cool. And honestly, I don't think it really stops for like an hour because you have little scenes between like Manny and Nelly, but
Hmm.
still there's music going on and it's kind of flowing into the rest of the party, which that's a whole other thing. I love that whole the whole party sequence and how all of these things are happening within the same party. I'm like, I dug it. Did we need it to be that long? No. But at the same time, I was thinking like I would have been really happy if the whole movie was just set at one party. You have your whole story go through this one party. But but anyway, like the whole thing it was nonstop until I think they get to New York and they go to the sanitarium. Like
Yeah.
that's the first I don't know, I might be wrong, but to me that's the first part where I noticed that there was no music,
Mm.
which I think the music might be the best part of this movie.
100%.
But that was like the first moment where I'm like, "Oh, okay, we're working with silence here. I like it." You
Hmm.
know, and then they use silence in unique ways as the film goes on after that. But yeah, it's just this movie didn't need to be 3 hours.
Hmm.
Uh I love the cinematography. I love the music. I enjoyed a lot of the acting. It's kind of funny because I was thinking Brad Pitt was my favorite role in this movie.
Mm.
Uh but I think it's the I don't know if it's the directing that I have an issue with, but I feel like all of this was just it just feels like so much is so much we didn't need. Like you could have actually made your point without shoving it down our throat, which I
Hmm.
don't think it really does, but you still could have done all of that with less.
Hmm.
And I think in a movie like this, less is more.
Yeah.
I think at the very end, like that final montage, I'm just like, just end your damn movie already, dude.
Dude. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we didn't, all we needed was the singing in the rain and his smile at the end. We didn't need the whole montage with Avatar and T2. And it's like,
Yeah.
especially if you're not a fan of a lot of modern movies, you know,
Yeah.
I guess that kind of leaves you but that's the thing too. It kind of ruins it because I was thinking, oh, this would really be cool if this is how it ends, you know. And I
Hmm.
liked like the chemical effects we were seeing with the film. I'm like,
Yeah.
that would be cool if the montage just leads into that in credits because then it's kind of on the audience. Well, it's up
Hmm.
to us to decide whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. You know,
Hmm.
whether movies are better now or not, you know, have they continued to grow or not. Uh, but no, we get the smile at the end. So like, okay, so this is a good thing. This is a positive montage.
Sure. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, they should have left it to us.
Yeah.
And but I mean, that's just my thing. Or honestly, the way I would have done it was just cut out the whole montage and you just cut to him smiling because the actor did great through that whole sequence through the whole movie. He was a solid lead. I had no idea this guy was essentially our lead.
Hmm.
Diego Calva.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, that final scene where he's just crying and then the camera sweeps and you see everyone's having different reactions to the movie, and then it
Mm-hmm.
comes back to him and he's just like almost bawling, and I'm like, dude, that was perfect. We don't need the montage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stop acting like one of the suits, Damien Chazelle. Just end the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, like, and here's the thing too, because it's like the the premise of the movie is, these artists struggling to adapt to the times and to adapt to all of these like changing innovations. And I think to have in your final montage a lot of these movies that then, you know, have these like huge technical innovations like T2 and Avatar, to show that like, hey, like because of this, because of your struggle here, we're now able to get to here.
Hmm.
Like on that level, I'm like, okay, I can see that connection. The problem is that story wise, Manny's not seeing any of that. Story
Hmm.
wise, Manny goes into Singing in the Rain, sees the story of Singing in the Rain, which is about silent film stars having trouble adapting to the talkies,
Hmm.
and it's all played for comedy. It's all played for laughs. Where it's like, well, in reality, a lot of these people lost their jobs, their livelihood.
Hmm.
These stars, a lot of them died in obscurity. Some of them couldn't adapt as well as they thought that they could,
Hmm.
and it ended tragically.
Yeah.
And also Manny is responsible for a lot of the regression uh, that that came because of the talkies.
Hmm.
He becomes the fill-in for the suit,
Hmm.
on set, where it's like, hey man, like you gotta tell this black star that he's not black enough. And so
Hmm.
he's got to wear the makeup. He's got to make himself into a mockery just
Hmm.
so we can sell seats in the South.
Yeah.
You got to tell, you're not really out, but privately everybody knows that she's out. You got to tell your, Asian film actress and
Hmm.
title writer that, like, well, we don't need you anymore and we can't use you because it's about morals. So it's like, so for Manny, it's like he's looking at the end and he's seeing this film like, oh my god, kind of reckoning with himself and his part in it, and reckoning
Hmm.
with this history that, like, this is so sad, this is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But then you get Gene Kelly, and then you get the Singing in the Rain bit,
Hmm.
and he smiles and he's crying and he's like, yeah. And in this way, it's just like it's sort of this thing where it's like, and all of that pain, misery, and suffering was worth it because we got the movie magic. We got this. And it's
And
like, it's a weird thing, because it's a weird gut punch of a feeling, because it's like, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel. Am I supposed to feel that, like, oh, happy ending? Or am I supposed to feel like, wow, that misery, that this sucks. This
yeah,
sucks actually,
I think that's one of the good things about this movie, though. Like, you're not supposed to know how to feel, because so much of this movie is just uncomfortable scenarios,
Yeah.
and I think they did a good job with the execution of that.
Yeah.
There's so many moments where I'm like, oh man, oh, you just get this pit in your stomach. But yeah, I think overall I think that's why I kind of blame it to the directing. I guess also the writing, because it's the same
Hmm.
guy.
Yeah, he
But
did
like,
both, so.
there it there needed to be, I think that's where just the execution wasn't good enough. If
Hmm.
you're gonna tell this story about, it's a balancing act between the magic of cinema and then the dirty grime of the industry. You got to have that balance. And I feel like there was no balance in this movie. We never
Yeah.
really saw the good side of this. The montage at the end wasn't good enough for that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yo, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. Like, it's because, again, like I was saying, like, all the parts of this movie separately were great. And I loved so many individual things about this movie. But together, it's like nobody knew how to put it together.
Yeah.
You know, I mentioned this with Parallels as well. They didn't know how to make the picture.
Hmm.
And so I throw that on Damien Chazelle. It's
Yeah, it is this thing where it's like I feel like you kind of throwing, another popular filmmaker under the bus, but it's like it's the Nolan problem. Nolan has an idea and has the technicality, you know, in his head when he's writing his movie, but he doesn't know how to write characters. He doesn't know how to write dialogue. So when
sure.
you have a movie that's just Nolan, it's like
Hmm.
it's hard for me to feel because I'm just like, yeah, technically this is a masterpiece. Story wise though, I'm like, I kind of struggle to to latch on emotionally, and I kind of feel like, like, not to say that Chazelle has the same problem, but it's the same problem of that, like, I think you're very good at a specific thing, but when it comes to this thing that you're trying to do, you need another writer. You need
Ooh,
somebody else
that's
in the
interesting.
room, or
That's interesting.
something. Yeah.
Um, that's a very interesting point. You know, and I mean there's we don't know what his process is like. You know, we don't know who or if he has that group of people where he
Hmm.
can give his script to and be like, "Hey, what do you think?" You know.
Hmm.
So, this could be the age-old tale of like, "No, this is mine. I wrote it and this is how it's going to be." Or it
Yeah.
could have been committee. You know, like Del Toro talks about sending his films to Jim Cameron and all these other directors and how they're brutally honest with him.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, I don't know if Damien Chazelle has a support group like that. I think every filmmaker should. Um, but I there was there's a moment where Brad Pitt talks about. He says he's like, you just critique and you write words, and he's like,
Yeah.
but you don't know what it's like. You don't put yourself out there, and I'm like, I get that. He's talking to me, you know. But at the same time, I feel like this movie did have a message, and it wasn't as bad as say it until the montage, shoving it down your throat, you
Hmm.
know. And I think compared to like what, well, it's interesting. I was gonna say you could kind of see him growing, Damien Chazelle, throughout the years, but then you compare this to like Whiplash, and you're like, oh man.
See, and that's my thing too. I'm like, it I feel like this entire movie is shoving this down your throat. The
Oh, okay,
entire the
yeah,
entire sequence where our like four principal leads or like a bunch of characters that we know, they're all at like the rich people party. I'm
yes,
I'm like, okay, it's good. It's good right up until Margot Robbie starts like slamming her like fist and face into all
yeah,
the food and all this stuff, and it goes on way too long.
yeah.
And then she comes back and throws up in front of everybody. I'm like, the movie is an exercise in restraint that it fails at every turn.
Yes. Yes, I think that's part of the issue. This movie, I think they kind of went into it with like there is no restraints because that's the story we're telling. We're like, yeah, you still should have had restraints because again, like
Hmm.
that whole again, it's like a set piece. That whole set piece of that one party. There's several parties throughout this movie, but that one
Hmm.
in particular, it felt like an SNL sketch. You know,
Yeah.
Chloe Fineman was in there and she was doing like this really like kind of stereotypical rich accent. I'm like, I get it. I get what they're going for. But I'm
Hmm.
like, this is like going really like
It's going a little over the top.
it's like it's almost becoming like a parody,
Hmm.
you know, which
Where like the whole
uh,
movie never felt like parody. Even
Yeah,
even the chaoticness and almost Looney Tune style of how we're doing all the
right.
silent film sets like back to back to back. It's like that never felt chaotic, or that never felt
Like a parody.
like a parody. Yeah, like
Yeah,
but the party did.
party
Like the
did.
rich people party
And
did.
the whole scene, like I like the scene where Nellie blows up at everyone. She finally breaks. I'm like, okay, cool. But then they eating the food stuff, and I'm like, oh my god. And it's so like there's nothing
You
unique.
throw up on my rug, and
There's
then
nothing
yeah.
unique or original about it. I'm like, "Ah, she's gonna go back in and throw up.
Hmm.
To me, this is one of those things where it kind of leads me to believe like, okay, there wasn't that many drafts of this, or maybe he didn't listen to his support group or whatever, because it's
Hmm.
like that's one of those things where like this whole movie is an exercise of looking back at the different elements and like deconstructing it, in hindsight, and you're like, I see why he did this. I
Yeah.
see why this is in the movie or why this happened this way, but I don't think it had like the effect that he was going for, that he wanted to do. I don't know. He might think this is the best thing he's ever done.
Yeah.
But there's so many things like that where I'm just like, I get why he did that, but Nellie walking off into the darkness, I thought was brilliant.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, because she kind of talks about that earlier, but then we see her obituary. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh. At first, I was like, oh, they kind of ruin it because we know how her story ends.
Hmm.
But thinking about it, backtracking, I was like, no, but that does fit with this world he's presenting us with.
Hmm.
Like, this is the real, you know, the Hollywood magic is fabricated from this dirty place. So I thought it would have been cool that we never actually know what happens to Nellie. But I'm like, no, that's not the reality. You know, they
Hmm.
found her dead at the age of 34. Accident.
Yeah.
I had to pause. I had to read it. Accidental overdose. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
and I'm
Okay.
like, I'm
I'm
like,
glad you did,
okay,
because by that point I was like, please
yeah,
just end. Just end this
yeah.
movie, please.
So yeah, so like deconstructing the film, I can see why all these decisions were made, but those reasonings were never really met to success. I'm just like, okay, I think it was a lot of exercises and a lot of separate ideas that failed to get their points across, and it just kind of ended up a mess.
Hmm.
Um, there's a lot of it I enjoyed, a lot of it I didn't. A lot of it was just gratuitous.
Hmm.
Uh,
There was a point. It was when they all drive out into the desert so that Nellie's dad can go fight the snake.
yeah,
And then Nellie gets bit by the snake, and everybody's freaking out.
yeah.
And then Lady Faye ends up going there and does the thing that like this is bullshit. This is the movies right here where she goes up to the snake bite and she starts
Mhm.
sucking out the venom and spitting it out. It's just like,
Mm,
no, you don't do that. Everybody knows that if you do that, you're just gonna get more poison in your mouth. Now two people are poisoned.
yeah.
It was at that point that I paused the movie and I was like, okay, I need a bio break. And I looked at the time code and we were right in the middle of the movie and I'm like,
Dude,
"Oh my god."
I was exhausted and I paused
Yeah.
it an hour in, and I was like, what? It
Yeah.
was a scene after the sanitarium. I'm like, which is wild to say because like I said, I think that's the first time where the movie slows down
Yeah.
in a good way. It slows down. I'm like, dude, we're still only an hour in.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. But yeah, I could understand if you want to make a movie that was gratuitous. Okay.
Mhm.
You did that. I could understand if you want to make a movie that does make you feel uncomfortable. Check the
Did
box
that.
there.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
like all these things are checking the boxes, but they never really blend together to make like a solid movie. And I'm like,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah.
Also, a thing we have barely mentioned, Mr. Palmer and Lady Faye. I'm like, they're two side characters who
Mhm.
I thought like every scene, like I wanted to know more of them.
Yeah.
It's like holy crap, like I Margot Robbie, she did good, but like that character wasn't really anything unique about her, you know? Like
Yeah.
we could have had less Nelly and more of Faye and Palmer. Like that would have been interesting.
Hmm.
Um, I like how much what's the main guy's name in the movie?
Manny.
Manny. I like
Yeah,
how much
Manuel.
I like how he's no Sam. Manny. That's what he
Oh,
wants on the door.
true.
I like
True.
how he's the lead and I think the actor did a great job. Uh, it's just every character here is just almost like what's the word? It's just very one dimensional,
Yeah.
you know. And I'm just like, oh,
Hmm.
okay. I would have liked to spend more time with Manny through like the middle of the film when he's actually going up the ladder and he's actually now he's having to confront his own
Hmm.
beliefs and morals, you know. And I'm like, damn. But the problem is, we never got any of that in the beginning. You know, we get the scene with him and Nelly doing
Hmm.
coke and talking about their dreams, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. But like instantly, they use him to break up this forming union,
Oh,
which I'm
yeah.
like, oh, dude. Which uh, one is an uncomfortable situation because I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, they're getting the Mexican kid to do this.
Hmm.
But two, I thought it was a funny scene because he you just see him in the background shooting the gun. I was like, dude, that's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
But instantly, it's almost like a red flag. Like, oh, dude, like, okay, how far
How
is he
far is he
gonna
willing to
go?
go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to focus on that stuff. Like,
Hmm.
there's a lot of things happening in this movie, and I feel like not enough story.
Yeah.
I
That,
guess.
like, I usually I'm usually able to like get enough out of a movie,
Hmm.
while at the same time being like, oh man, like it'd be cool if there was like a sequel or like a TV show that like explored more ideas that like I feel like they didn't really like get into, but like overall it's fine. Like
Yeah.
I can enjoy movies for what they are. This By the end of it, I was just like, I almost would have preferred if this was like a TV show,
That's what I
like a
was thinking.
limited series or something. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, how cool would it be to like to have a movie, like even if you have all of these characters who are kind of amalgamations of real people, but
Right.
like, yeah, just put them in, just set them in the world. It's interesting because a lot of the time watching this movie, I was also thinking about Hail Caesar, which isn't
Yeah.
necessarily like the same time period, but
Hmm.
it is sort of the same thing where it's like we're a struggling film studio that's like we don't know what direction we need to go, like we're unsure of our certain like our place in the industry and in life,
Hmm.
because threat of the Cold War, because of these changing feelings and all this stuff. And I wasn't a huge fan of Hail Caesar, but
Hmm.
watching this movie made me really want to be like, maybe I need to go back and rewatch that, because like that
Yeah.
is also a love letter to that era of Hollywood, while also kind of being a critique of the studio system and how it treats
Hmm.
its actors and how it treats its politics. Whereas like this movie is very like on the nose, sort of the same, but it doesn't go in depth as I wanted it to.
Yeah.
Like the whole fact they have the big studio head, Don Wallace or Wallach.
Hmm.
I don't remember, but he's like this big studio head, and like anytime he comes in the room, everybody's like, oh, oh, like quiet. Like like I was unsure if this was also like a critique of like a Weinstein. But he never gave like a Weinstein like
As
feel.
soon as he walked into frame, I think it was at one of the parties or premieres or something.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, is that? And I'm like, no, 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 it's
No,
not him.
no,
But I thought
no.
I was like, dude, is that Weinstein? I was like, no way. You know, this movie's too recent. But like, he kind of, I think there was some kind of influence there. You know, even the way he wasn't exactly clean shaven. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm just like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. It's just like his. It's kind of like when Hitchcock's like
Silhouette comes in.
silhouette pops up. I'm like, oh, that's Hitchcock. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I thought. I was like, is that? Oh God. I was like,
Yeah,
nope.
I was scared for a second,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I all
And
that
he
to
doesn't do
say,
anything in the movie,
yeah,
well, period. But especially to suggest any kind of connection. You know what I mean? I think
yeah,
it was one of those jump scares. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
those
very much
for
so.
shock value. Yeah, like a lot of this movie. But
Yeah. But
yeah.
yeah, I feel like this could have benefited from being like a limited series or something where we can focus on
Each of
maybe
the
do that because I
characters.
feel like there were a lot of characters that I'm like, "Oh, I would love to focus on you, but we
Yeah.
are telling a sort of ensemble story." But I
Yeah.
think it would have been interesting to like focus on, hey, very first episode, we're gonna focus on Manny. Second episode, we'll focus on
Yeah.
Nelly. Third episode, we'll focus on, Lady Faye or something. And
Hmm.
then like have that go on. All the characters are still there, but those characters get the focal. Because I thought that was
Yeah.
really cool how like Lady Faye shows up and she's so miraculous and
Hmm.
beautiful and mysterious, queer, which is something that a lot of people don't always associate with this era, and
Yeah.
very open, and everybody's accepting of it and like into
Yeah.
it. And then when we cut back, to the morning, it's like, oh, she's working in like her parents' like linen shop or a
Yeah.
clothing shop. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's the
Hmm.
thing that I would love to focus on, like these stars who have this persona but
Yeah.
have to do the day job because, well, you're not white. You're not white and you're not a
Yeah.
man, so like
Yeah.
you still have to do this thing, and by comparison you have Brad Pitt who's like still drunk, you know in the throes of a brand new divorce, sleeping
Hmm.
until 11 or whatever, and then pops up and it's just like, all right, time to go make a movie. It's like that. Well, that's your
Yeah.
life. It's like, I
Yeah.
love the dichotomy of that. So
Yeah.
it would have been cool to like go deeper into those dichotomies.
Yeah. I love the heartbreak and like the whole last third of the movie, just
Hmm.
you get some deaths, you get some suicides, but also just the idea of like kind of having this little magical world that's gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it was kind of reminding me of the beach. I love that last scene with Conrad and Lady Faye, and where he's basically saying, he's like, I had a hell of a run, didn't I?
Hmm.
And it reminds me of the end of the beach. It's just like we had paradise and we lost it, and now what do we do?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know, man. Like the idea of, you see, that's another thing. We never really saw Palmer and Manny together. They had like one little scene, but like I wanted to see if there was a friendship there. So when
Hmm.
he asks him to put on the makeup, it is more of a betrayal, you
Hmm.
know. But yeah, so I don't know. Like I I wanted to feel more of that impact of having Lady Faye leave and having Palmer go back to the music, but they're not in the movie enough to really to give that impact. It's great
Yeah.
character moments for them, but for the audience, it's just like, okay, they're just in this movie a little bit,
Yeah. So
and it's just like,
let's go back to Margot Robbie doing more coke,
yeah,
doing
and
acting crazy and
that's my
frenetic,
thing with the character of Nellie too. Like, I feel like
terribly written. Just
terribly written. I saw what they're trying to do, but like also this nothing new here. Like I
yeah.
would have actually preferred like in the end where Manny's at the theater and he's watching the movie about the actress who can't, she doesn't have the right voice for it. And they keep saying that Nelly hat sounds like a donkey. I'm like, does it sounds fine to me. Like
Yeah.
I would have been more interested to see something like that. Like folk like the issue with isn't that Nelly's this wild child. No, like what if it's legitimately about someone who can't adapt, you know?
Yeah.
And we never really, they kind of hinted at that with Conrad, but we never really get that. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted
Like,
to go into that.
yeah,
Instead,
that's
they're like, "Oh, she has gambling problems," so that we're going to introduce this whole thing with Toby Maguire's character. Which I'm like, I get. I get it, and I get wanting to put that in the movie and having this whole dark underground. I
Hmm.
get that, but we didn't have to do this whole the mob is after a storyline type thing. Like I don't know if they just needed an ending or what.
It is like, yeah, it is interesting because it is weird how it's weird how that gets brought up. Now I know we're kind of in the minority because I think a lot of people generally liked this movie.
Really? You think so?
At least when I looked on my letterbox, it was like
Oh.
4.5, 5 stars, like almost down the board.
Well,
And I
I
was
think
like,
only
all
people
right.
who enjoyed it wanted to go rate this one because I don't know. I mean, it was a box office flop. I don't
Oh,
really
true.
know. Is this the last thing Damien Chazelle has done?
I think so.
Yeah,
Uh,
because
because I'm trying to remember when he did First Man.
that was after La La Land.
Okay, that was after La La. Okay,
So
yeah, yeah. So this was the last thing that Chazelle has done for a while.
yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting because it's like I the movie feels like it's trying to fit all of these things into one thing. And to be fair, I'm down for a director, doing a modern epic. You know, I don't mind like a 3+ hour runtime if your story and the pacing of that story, propels it and keeps it moving and
Sure.
keeps it going forward. I don't need it to be, like nonstop frenetic, but like keep me invested, and keep me going. Like I definitely think that like that section with McGuire and like going into like, this thing where it's like, well, that kind of makes sense because we saw how the change was from like, hey, this is the regular debauchery at the beginning of the movie.
Hmm.
And now we all have to kind of like do parodies of ourselves in front of these rich people. It's like, well,
Hmm.
this sucks. Like I can't imagine it gets any worse than this. And then it's like, oh no, Manny and the Count now have to go to this even seedier side of Los Angeles that feels like is birthed out of the innovations and birthed out
Yeah.
of the shifting of the morals, where it's like, oh, we can't just do regular debauchery at our McMansions anymore. We have to
Yeah.
go outside city limits. We have to go even darker and deeper. And that whole sequence is uncomfortable. And I'm like, if you saved a lot of the gratuitousness
Hmm.
for this, I think it would have made it far scarier and far more impactful.
Same. Because I was thinking, like, dude, this is a great sequence. It's pretty
Yeah.
terrifying, but again, like you should have saved most. Because at that point, we're kind of desensitized. Again,
Yeah.
how do we know what violence is?
Yeah.
We're so desensitized by that point. It's just like, okay, all right, now
Yeah.
what are we gonna see? You know, um, I like how he kept saying just one more level down, just one more level. I'm like, dude, this is kind of like
Yeah.
the whole movie. It's like we keep going down into like the lower levels of hell, you
Yeah.
know, and I'm like, interesting. Was that
And
intentional?
yeah.
Maybe.
And maybe this is me, but like, oh, okay, we just see like a big strong man like eating a rat. Like
Yeah.
like for me, I'm like, wait, is that it? Like
Yeah, I
like
know. I was
everything
like,
else in the movie, I'm like, wait, is that it? This is where we're drawing the line of like, look how depraved we all
I
are. We're all
know.
on drugs and this muscle man's eating a rat. I'm
I
like,
just saw a guy getting, like pegged back there. Like this muscle guy
yeah.
eating a rat has nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like, oh,
Um,
okay. Like that,
See, yeah, it would have
sure.
been wild if like we would have had a returning character be one of someone in that scene. Like, oh, we
I
wondered
did
what
like
happened to that
how
guy.
I did, yeah, yeah, yeah. I did like how Lady Faye's song from the beginning is being played in like the
Mm.
sex dungeon part. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the sort of like, that felt almost akin to like the Singing in the Rain song being used in like a Clockwork Orange while Alex is
Oh,
like beating up
right.
that guy. Like that
Yeah.
was sort of a parallel for me. But yeah, like it is this thing where it's like if this was the most terrifying or if this was the most like gratuitous part of the movie, I
Hmm.
feel like it would have worked so much more. But yeah.
Oh, interesting. Because I was wondering, but that was Louis Tan at the party in the beginning when Lady Faye's doing her dance. And
Mm-hmm.
there's like the one guy she kind of flirts with, and then she goes to the girl at the table. That was Louis Tan. And I was like,
Oh,
is that Louis Tan?
yeah.
I was like, I wanted to Google it to be sure.
There's a
But
lot of that in the movie. I think Spike Jones is the sound guy
yeah.
in the sound
Well,
booth. Yeah.
but there were cameos, but like Louis Tan was literally just sitting at that table. But
Yeah.
it turns out the actress who plays Lady Faye was in Wu Assassins with him. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
cool.
which I am one of the few people who really enjoyed Wu Assassins. Um, I didn't go back and see because I didn't realize she was in there. Interesting. Hmm. Um, all in all, I mean, I'm pretty down the middle with this movie. Like,
Mm,
I didn't absolutely hate it, like a lot of the box office apparently, but
hmm.
I did not love it like Letterboxd.
Yeah.
So, I'm just like, yeah, it's no La La Land.
No, Matt, let's face it. It's no Congo.
It's no Congo. But no, it is interesting. I feel like to sum it up, Damien Chazelle, I want to say his messaging got in the way of the story he was telling.
Yeah.
Instead of taking us on this ride, it kind of got a little messagey, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, I
um,
agree.
yeah. But other than that, I'm looking her up. I don't know how you pronounce her name. Lee Jun Lee, who
I
plays
believe so, yes.
Lady Faye, also from Sinners, which we recently watched.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't recognize anything else in her filmography. But when she popped up, I was like, that's cool. Okay, Sinners was the last movie she did, so who knows if she's
Okay.
doing what she's doing now.
I'll put her in
Um,
everything.
oh, she's in Spider Noir.
Ooh, fun. Okay.
I don't know if you want me to tell you who she's playing though.
Ooh, no, because I am genuinely excited to watch that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had no idea. Okay, so this is
I will
interesting.
be watching it in the authentic black and white because
Yes,
Nicolas Cage even said he did his performance for the black and white.
nice,
So now
nice.
I do like the
Um,
color palette that they're using for that for the colored
same,
yeah,
same.
for the colored version, but yeah, black and white all the way.
Okay, so next week, no
Hmm.
movie. We're gonna get Dad next week, hopefully.
Yay!
And if not, we'll find something to talk about. But
Yeah,
yeah, we're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
have our week off for the movies. But do we still want to roll for the following week?
Sure,
You ready?
sure.
That is 19.
19. Ooh, okay. We will be watching a little ditty that's sort of a crime thriller asterisk. A movie from 2024 called Things Will Be Different. Uh, I thought, I originally thought that this was by the guys who did, oh, what did they do? I'm blanking on all the movies that they've done. I thought it was by the guys who like did a lot of kind of like indie lower budget horror movies. Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. I thought they directed this movie. They did executive produce this movie. Oh, they did Spring, The Endless, Synchronic. They also worked on, I believe, I think they did a few episodes of Marvel's Moon Knight, but they also did Daredevil Born
All
Again.
right, so they're the ones who did this?
They are producing it.
Okay, because I was gonna say I have things will be different on my list as number 19.
Oh, really?
Oh, and from what I've heard about
What
this
a
movie,
twist!
it's a mind blowing movie.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's
I bel
exciting.
I believe this movie. The last time I checked, this was on Hulu, so I believe it's also on Disney Plus. And then I'm sure you can
Mhm.
also pay for it, to
Yeah.
buy it, rent it,
This
anywhere.
was one of the movies that was kind of I guess inspiration for this year of the pod. I'm like, I just want to watch some weird sci-fi stuff.
Same.
And this was one of the first ones. Initially my list was alphabetical order, 1 through 20. So this is number 19. But
Yeah.
now as movies have moved off the list, it's not alphabetized anymore.
Yeah,
But,
same.
yeah, I had like, man, there's like 8 movies, maybe more, that were like, dude, these are just weird sci-fi movies that seem underrated and or that are not underrated, but it's the opposite of underrated. They just love like not a lot of people had seen. I guess so. Yeah, underrated, but they're really good, really solid.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I had like 8 of them, and that was on there. So I was like, all right, let's do this.
There you go.
So I feel like we made it, Sam. We're almost in June, and we're finally getting into why we do this podcast.
Hell yeah, hitting our stride.
The funky sci-fi. So, all right, everyone. Next week, Dad. Hopefully, and then the week after, things will be different. Everyone, hit us up. Hashtag Lost Legacies or Lost Legacies Podcast at gmail.com. Send us questions. Whatever, thoughts,
Questions,
opinions,
comments, concerns.
Yeah, let us know what you thought about Babylon. Yeah. And then other than that, we'll see you next week. Until then, get lost.